Hey everyone, it's Pauline here from Subtl Beauty, and I'm super excited to be back on Subtle's channel today with some amazing new news from the brand that they have just launched 5 duo eyeshadows. All of the shades are in duos, which you will see here. This is Nectar. They each have a matte and a shimmer shade. You have the matte of Nectar and the shimmer of Nectar. Next up we have Sunset. This is a really pretty rosy red pink option. The third set here, which is Dune. So again, we have this matte brown. Totally gonna run out of space on my arm. And this more shimmer shade. I love this one. It's kind of like a coppery pink. I'm gonna switch hands. And then we have the fourth set, which is Crush. So this one's a little bit more neutral, a little more mauve-y, but again, you have your matte. It's almost like got some purple vibes, and then this one's really pigmented, which is really pretty. And the last duo is called Jelly. This is definitely great for like an everyday. Let's see what fingers I haven't used. You have your matte. This one's definitely the most subtle out of all of them. Really pretty. It's definitely more on like the pink side. So you can see there the pigment is definitely not as heavy on Jelly, but all in all, this is what you're working with. And then they also launched, to come with their eyeshadow launch, this really awesome retractable brush. You can see here you have one side that is slanted, and then you have another side that is a little bit more dense, but this is so great for on the go. If you have your stack all stacked up with you and you have this, you're going to be totally set to do an eye look wherever, whenever. So what I was going to do today is show you an eye look and show you how I would do my eyeshadow with one of these duos for my eye shape. I definitely have a little bit more of a deep set eye, meaning my brow bone comes out and over a little bit, so my crease is really deep back there. So I'm going to try to bring my eye forward, and I think I'm going to go with Dune. So this one's probably the most pigmented of the matte shades, but I don't want you to be intimidated by it, which is why I'm going to show you. I actually like to start with the transition shade. So I'm actually going to use 2 of the sets. I'm going to use this as my transition shade and then shift to this. Reason being, you just don't want extreme pigmentation to hit the skin immediately. So this is in Jelly. I'm using that matte shade of Jelly, and I'm going to use the slanted brush here, and I'm just going to windshield wipe this back and forth with a light hand in my crease. Just a makeup artist trick, if you ever have too much pigment, you can flip or use a clean brush and just buff out any lines or anything that maybe just came on a little too strong. Now that I have that transition shade down as my base, now I'm going to go in to Dune. Now, if you don't have a transition shade and you only get one of these, totally fine. This is just a stylistic thing. I'm going to go back in with that slanted brush, and I'm going to pick up the slightest bit of this, and I'm going to tap it off the side. Now, the way that I'm going to do this for my eye is I'm going to start a little bit higher than I would in the set of my crease. So right about there. So you can really see this baby's pigmented. I might actually take a little bit more off on the back of my hand at first, and then start to buff it up. And I'm going to go right above my crease. So if you have a deeper set eye, this is really going to help lift your eye because you're kind of faking that the crease is a little bit higher where that shadow is going to be. You can see here, we're pretty pigmented, but when in doubt, buff it out. So I'm just going to go in back and forth in small circular motions. And then I'm going to pull any extra pigment down almost like a V to my outer corner here. So I started up here and I was going like this. Now I'm pulling it down this way. And that's just going to start to bring some depth right along the lash line, almost as if you were going to line your top lashes. This will do it in a really natural way. Again, I'm going to use that other side. It does not have intentional pigment on it, just to kind of buff out. clean up. I love that about these brush sets. Now I'm gonna actually retract this even smaller, like this, so that it gets a little bit more dense, and I'm gonna pick up that deep shade again. Again, I'm gonna pat it off, and I'm gonna pull this underneath my bottom lash line. It's just gonna help me focus the pigment more intentionally than if the brush were totally exposed and a little bit fluffier. I think this is such a cool thing about these brushes that can kind of become like multiple brushes in one. I'm going to show you now how I'm going to apply the shimmer shade out of Dune. So I like to apply shimmer with my finger. So I'm going to use my ring finger, make sure I have all those swatches off. And I'm just going to pick up ever so slightly, and I'm going to focus that right in the middle of my lid. And then I'm going to start to slowly pull that pigment inward until I hit that inner corner. And then I'm just going to pull it up ever so slightly and then go back in with my brush to buff those together. And do the same thing on the other side. You can even bring that shimmer shade up a little bit higher in the middle of the eye, as if the light is reflecting right down the center. It's gonna open the eyes. When in doubt, buff it out. So you can literally just kind of like erase whatever is left on these brushes on the back of your hand, and then I like to just clean up ever so minimally after I do a big look like that. Then I'm gonna clean up with my concealer, one more coat of mascara, and this eye look will be complete. With the Subtle Concealer shade Arlington, I'm gonna pick that up with my pinky and literally just start to kind of like erase anything that I got outside the lines, because it happens. And what's so great about the eyeshadows, similarly to the rest of the Subtle products, are that they are crease-proof, cruelty-free, vegan, clean, all the good things, which nowadays you just don't even want to have to like think twice about the products that you buy. When it comes to that stuff, you just want to know that they're, you know, doing good. So I literally just used my finger for that. You could use a brush, whatever you have. And then I'm going to go in with my mascara one more time. And then because we brought some color down below, I'm going to hit my bottom lashes too. And just like that, you have a full eye look complete from just one to potentially two duos. You could totally have done this with just the one. But I'm so excited that Subtle launched these. These are such a natural addition to all of the amazing pieces of the stacks that they already have. So go out and check out all of the amazing new eyeshadow duos. They're pretty cool. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Otherwise, we'll be back with more videos soon. Bye, everyone.